How to use Flash. Basics for creating animations. Now before you do anything, this is what you need. Flash player, so you can play the creations that you've made in Flash program. Adobe Flash, the actual program that you use to create your animations. You can get any version, but to get the latest features and updates, I recommend you just get the latest version. Lots of time and patience. Remember that when you're animating animations, you work frame by frame, so it will take a long time to create like even a 10-second animation. A really good one, at least.
Alright, so this is basically what the Flash program layout looks like here. I just edited a little settings, like I zoomed in on the field, but with whatever kind of Flash version you're using, it should generally look like this. Like you should still see properties and timeline somewhere around here, and tabs showing the different projects that are opened. Now, for basic frame by frame animation, what you're gonna do, or what you're gonna practice with, is just creating a regular object, then switching to the selection tool, press V for a hotkey, just move it bit by bit, frame by frame animation, and that's pretty much how you do it, as shown here. That was me doing the frame by frame animation, and this is the finished product. And that's pretty much frame by frame animation. This is probably the simplest version or the simplest way to animate. So you only do this sorry for that. You only do this if you are just starting out, if you're just starting to use Flash, or for really complex animations that other means of animation wouldn't really work. That's pretty much frame by frame.
Tweens. There are two different types of tweens, and this can actually help you or make animating easier. Motion. This just allows you to give any object a set path for it to follow, for a set amount of speed and time. Shape tweening is pretty much the same as motion, except while it's moving on the set path, you can make it warp into a completely different object while still following the path.
Alright, for motion tween, what you're going to want to do first is select your object, convert it to symbol, make sure the type is graphic, and name it to whatever. I'm just going to leave it to symbol 1. Okay. Now, your starting frame, this is your starting point. A new frame, and put your object in the end point, so that these two frames have completely different points. Then move this a good few frames. I'm gonna make it 15. Now, for some reason, I think this is only dependent on my version, motion tween here, it's called classic tween. I'm pretty sure it'll be called motion tween for older versions, but for some reason they called it classic tween. You know it works when you see arrows pointing from here to the next frame, and it should look a little something like this. And that's pretty much motion tween. Alright, so shape tweening is just like motion tweening, except for two major differences. One, since you're morphing an object into a completely different one whilst following a set path, you are not supposed to change them into symbols, so that they can freely break apart in the shape tweening process. Alright, so this currently is not a symbol. We'll leave it like that. Now enter a new keyframe. Make sure the first frame still has your original object, and for the second frame I'll replace it with a, let's say, a red square here. Now move the second frame a few frames forward. I'm gonna pick frame 20, right click inside and shape tween. And if you have like some kind of warped animation like that, there you go. And this is what the result should look like. And that's pretty much shape tweening. It's just like motion tweening, except you should absolutely not set symbols for any of the objects that you are shape tweening. And instead of just selecting motion tween, shape tween. And then the end object has to be something completely different from the original object.
Sound. Sounds can be used to give any object feeling by hearing it instead of just watching it. Examples are characters talking or music being played.
Alright, so the last thing we're going to be doing here is using sounds in Flash. Now, to pretty much do this, it's pretty much just importing some outside file into your Flash project. So import to library, and you see it'll load for a bit. Alright, and my sound clip here. You open it, then it'll appear in your library here. Now, it needs a separate layer for it to go to, so insert layer, here it is. Now, if the sound file is too long for the amount of frames that one of your layers has, you can extend it so that it'll properly fit. And then you just drag this into the area. Oh wait, here, there. If you see some kind of wavelength looking thing here, that means you have the sound here. And that's pretty much it.
That's all the basic topics of Flash animation. That's it.